episode 8, we once again get the soldiers, which, quick topic before we really jump into it. Some people keep being like shocked. I've seen on like Twitter that people are like surprised, like, oh, another soldiers week. Yeah, because they're doing an arc. I feel like that has been established. Like, we now know that they're following this table until this arc is completed. And yet people are like, the soldiers again. And it's like, yes. And then we're going to get the schemers probably, or the seekers probably, for an extended period of time. Something I do find really interesting, though, outside of that, is that we are also getting these cold opens, which are showing us what the other tables are doing. And the other tables are not stagnant while we aren't watching, right? Like, stuff is still happening, which I find interesting, because that means that lives are being lived for the show that we're not getting to see as it happens, right? I thought it was going to be like, we watched this group go from point A to point B, and then we cut, and this group is still back at point A, and then they get to point B, and then the third group goes from point A to point B. But instead, it seems like as we're following this group, stuff is still happening with the other groups. We're just not watching it. Now, I don't think like big things are going to happen. I do think we're going to get to catch those on camera and that sort of thing. But it's evident that like lives are still being lived on the side, which is quite interesting. Ooh, did I not do my YouTube chat? What was the very last scene last session? I believe that was Wikander and hold on, I didn't open up my YouTube chat on this. Wikander and Tyranny being inside. Yo, what's up, other nerd? Being inside with Casimir, and him being like, oh, if they won't follow the new noble, they'll follow the House of Halavar, and like doing that sort of thing. So, yeah, that is the last scene, Chrome, that I believe we saw. Oh, just Jerry. I totally understand why they would do it. It's just not, I think, what anybody thought they would do. They just arrived at the castle. Well, I mean, they did. They arrived. They saw it. They witnessed some stuff happening. And then they decided to try this plan where they go in, the other people get close. So yeah, we know Wick and Tyranny are inside with Casimir and his goons. And then we know that the rest of the group has gotten close to like the outer wall outside, and they watched as Wick and Tyranny went in. And that's kind of where we ended that episode. I know it always throws me off when they take those weeks off, which one feels odd to do because it's all pre-recorded. Like, they don't need that week off, but maybe it's their way to like let people catch up, right? That's certainly possible, but it's like, if it's pre-recorded, I don't think we need a week off. And if you know, people still have a whole week between to watch 4-hour episodes. So when it was just for holidays, well, we saw it before, right? I know it's only been 2 months, but out of the 2 months, they've missed the last week every time. This one was for a holiday. December is probably going to be a holiday as well. Right? So we won't really know if it's going to be a common theme until January. Most likely. If they actually decide, like, you know, because I don't think Christmas is going to, like, fall on... No, is it Christmas the 25th or 26th? I think it is, actually, so that might be why. Hold on, I'm not getting... Hopefully it populates now. There we go. Sorry if you're on YouTube. I was not seeing the messages, but I am now, so let's catch up here. The rest are keeping behind the broken wall. Yep. What's up, Jason? Were they going to kill Cass first and then fight Sid? That is kind of what they decided. Whether or not that's actually how this plays out, well, we'll find out tonight in episode 8 of Critical Role Campaign 4. Everyone have a happy turkey day? Yeah, it was fine, little bun. How was yours? I talked about it and went with Cass first. Yep. I think they shoot more episodes in a short amount of time. Probably easy to post everything. Oh, I agree with you 100%. I've posted videos about this where they 100% get, like, for instance, the soldiers probably recorded like 6 episodes across like 2 or 3 days. They probably sat down for a 4-hour block, broke, went to lunch, took, you know, an hour, 2 hours between, came back, recorded the next 4-hour episode. The next day they came back, did the same thing, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then they just get to take off, and then maybe the next day. So they're always going to have batches ahead of time for an extended period of time, which is why, again, it's like, why are we getting full weeks off when you probably have a backlog of a significant amount of episodes? I don't love that personally. Like, I don't Also because, of course, I make content around it. I would love to have things to talk about every single week. So that's a little bit selfish on my end, but it's true. I'm feeling Sid is going to be a suit for one of the demons or something. Nefari site that. Ooh. Captured by a noble house. So we don't know fully what's going on with Sid. Could be caught by the Taconis. They said it's no longer their business. We also don't know if maybe Dame Morgaine or Morgaine, right? If they did something, right? And that's why they're not there. Like, we actually don't know the answer to a lot of these things. Still trying to figure some of that out as we watch. But tonight, I think we'll find out if they're gonna go ahead and go for the kill on Casimir, because they've got him, right? Like, he's there in front of them. They got to get in and they got to fight through all of his goons and stuff like that. But we don't know if Sid is still alive. We just know that the Dakonas basically said, like, he's none of your concern anymore. They said new information had come to light and he's none of your concern anymore. We don't fully know what that means, but shoot 4 years content in 3 months. Exactly. And I don't want to go on a whole tirade about how I feel like this is by far the most produced campaign, but it is by far the most produced, and we have gotten so far away from like the first Critical Role campaign. So yeah. Did you watch the Mighty Nine episode? Yes, I did. He might be controlled by now. I agree. He could, but how crazy would that be? That would be pretty cool, though, if Taylor had to, like, fight his brother who had been taken over by a demon that was, like, working for Tagonis or something. That would be a pretty emotional arc. We might see a Travis emotional arc. Thimble Revenge. Yes, Chrome. We should be getting some Thimble Revenge. I mean, everybody kind of wants revenge. Well, 3 of the 5 want revenge on Casimir. So everybody's getting a little bit of revenge. But yes, it is definitely a matter of who, or rather when. Sorry. But how does everybody feel? Do you guys like that they take a week off or not? I did not, Richard. I have not watched the Acquisitions Incorporated. Are you talking about the latest one where, like, from PAX or whatever? With Matt? It'd be funny to have Tayor, who we kind of just shrugged about his background being the one with such an emotional arc so soon. Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, like, Thimble has already, like, this is an emotional arc for Thimble. I was trying to think if somebody else has had, like, an emotional arc. Yeah. I understand taking a week off for the holidays, but after that, probably not great. Yeah, and then last month, they had a one-shot that they were doing, so they took a day off there. So I really am hoping that it's not going to become a regular thing, but I thought somebody told me that they always do that. Like, that's just... Yeah. I do think it's for the crew, but why? Like, how does that impact the crew? Working a Thursday night 4 times a month? It's not like they have to be in on, like, a Saturday. It's a Thursday night. Week off when the episodes are in the can. Yeah. What's up, mother? Oh, never mind. I forgot you were putting Discord. I'd already responded. You said yo already. One shot, they could just do an episode. Exactly. And I hope they will. I really hope they will. Yeah, PAX, when Matt was playing Jim Recover running Dagger. Yeah. Now that they've fully swapped Acquisitions Incorporated over to it. Isn't new. They've always done it. Last Thursday of each month. Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's not new. Like, they always do that. But I just don't understand why. It feels so unnecessary. Like, it truly does. Yeah. Thoughts on the Mighty Nine so far? I've enjoyed it. They're doing a lot. They stressed it. They said a lot is going to be different. They were not kidding. The amount of information we have now compared to people when they got it in the campaign, the amount of things we've seen already, the characters we shouldn't know yet, but we know, how people met, where they met, when people reveal background aspects, like, it's all different. Yeah. Mother Nerd, I hope you're having a great Thursday. In campaign 3, since it's since it's all pre-produced and we know that they're batching, right? Like, They already have some of this stuff prepared. It just doesn't make any sense to do it. And I don't like it. So they should change it. Get it out of here. We don't want any days off. That's the way I feel. You like it? Wait, Speedster, you like that they take the 4th week off? The pre-show not an Airbnb. Nice. Yo, what's up, Jay? Yeah, we are officially home on the normal setup with all the normal stuff. Yeah. Hire us. We will do the stream for them. Hey, look. If I ever get a connection, I will send them to Tales of Exandria and Ahriman. I've been trying desperately to get an interview with them because I'm watching everybody else do it. I'm watching everybody else get a chance to interview these people. The character sheet, Todd, everybody is getting, and I've emailed, I've done the form on their website. I've tried tweeting at people. I've tried commenting on Instagram. Like I cannot get an end to talk to them. But I may actually be interviewing somebody from Dungeons and Dragons soon. Oh, you meant you and me? Oh, okay. Well, I'll join you. I'd be happy with just letting you have it, but I'll join you. I meant no week off. Oh, okay, Jason. I got you. Oh, no, the Mighty Nine thing. Okay, Speedster, never mind. I think Brennan uses the cold open and check on the other tables. See, but some people don't. That, again, it's just an interesting thing to me, how differently people feel about everything. Like, there's almost nothing that everybody can agree on. Which is just life, but it's so wild to see sometimes who you'll be so confident, surely everybody agrees with this, and then somebody's like, I do not agree with that. And for instance, the cold opens. I also think it's a way to show that things are happening with the other groups, right? They're not staying in the same time, did not freeze for them. They are actively doing things while we're not watching, which is different, right? It is a little odd, but it is happening. But other people are like, they don't like that at all. You know, like they want to go into the episode or they want to do the normal openings. It's just one of those things that I would have never thought would have been like this hinge, that there were people on both sides feeling a different type of way about it. And alas, there are. We just sit in the studio and run the stream. I'm down. I'm super down. Holy cow, why am I so thirsty? I was killing that. What is your opinion about Cadigan? Like, seriously, he was the most interesting to me, but now I don't know that. First, Jerry, yeah, I agree with your saying. I don't mind them. I'm definitely not against them in any way, shape, or form when it comes to the cold opens. Am I in love? Would I be upset if they stopped? No. But I don't mind them. Now to Jay, I like Cadigan. I think Robbie is slow playing him throughout this first arc, almost to the point where it's going against him. Right? Like when he first did it, like in the overture, I noticed he was kind of in the background. It wasn't really, but when he did hit, it was great. Now I feel like we've gotten to the soldiers and he's had less good moments than he did in the overture. There are still a lot of question marks. There's still a lot of things I want to know and find out. But I feel like his character hasn't hit as hard with the actual soldiers table than when he had his little moments in the overture. But I still like him. I still think Robbie's accent with him, his mannerisms, you can tell Robbie is really into this character, like really into this character. And I do like that. I like the cold opens. It's a way to connect to the other tables. You have to do something to stay in touch with those players. I know why, again, I understand why they're doing it, Richard, 100%. They're going, hey, we know that we're giving you the soldiers for like 4 or 5, 6 weeks, who knows? So here's a little glimpse at the other table, so you still remember, or you still kind of know what's happening. So yeah. Somebody do something out. What's up, Peeper? So we'll just do things the way they want to do it. That's fair, Speedster, for sure. You know, again, I think most people want them to do 4 episodes a month and not take one off, but Jedi says, I feel like in this newest campaign, it sometimes feel like there are just too many characters. I mean, that's part of the thing, which is why they split into different tables. Right? Like, it doesn't feel like there's too many players at the soldiers table because there's only 5. And the other tables only have 4 each. So that's not really as much of a problem. But you still have to remember that there are all these other players and all these other lives being lived and stuff like that. So I definitely still understand, like, that idea. But you're not having to actively, like, pay attention to a bunch of different characters. Here's one thing, another thing that in my mind, I can't imagine anybody disagreeing with, but maybe somebody will. Would anybody be upset or find that it would be worse if they went back to doing live instead of pre-recorded? Does anybody think it would be a negative if they went back to doing live sessions? 4-player tables could feel different. Yeah, well, I mean, the other ones are going to be 4 tables or 4 players until maybe there's a shakeup. I prefer live. I think everybody does. I don't think there's a single viewer benefit to not doing it live. I'm curious how far they're going to push it before it doesn't feel like a D&D game anymore. It was more organic. I agree. It is a concern I have that, like, they like to push the envelope. They like to try new things. They're doing this whole 13-player thing with a new DM and different, there's a lot of things. I wonder how far they're going to go before you're just like, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. Like, this isn't a live sort of thing. It's a produced show. It's down to the players. From a viewer's perspective, it is great to be live, not produced. I agree. And I mean, my thing is, like, I'm not trying to crap on it. Again, I watched Campaign 4. I'm enjoying Campaign 4. But I do think this is the absolute furthest from a legit game of D&D that they've had. Like, that connection of being able to watch and be like, oh, I can relate to this. Like, this is like a home game. I don't think we're really there anymore. Far ahead they are from what we see week to week. I imagine they're at least 4 weeks ahead. Again, total speculation. Take it with a grain of salt. I know nothing. But I imagine they're probably at least 4 weeks ahead. I go over the idea that they're not a huge story-driven show that relies on... No, I agree, Quake. Like, again, it's not ruining it for me. But it's kind of like... I like apple pie and pumpkin pie. I like apple pie more than I like pumpkin pie. Doesn't mean I don't like pumpkin pie. But I do like apple pie more. And the further the apple pie turns into a pumpkin pie, like, I still like it. But I feel like I'm taking this analogy too far. But that's all I mean. Is just, I do think it has changed drastically. And I don't know at what point it becomes a hurt to them. Like, as a company. As Critical Role, I wonder how far they can take it towards produced show before it becomes like, okay, this isn't even what anybody wanted. Like, I don't think anybody asked them to do what they're doing now. It was just what was better for them. So yeah. Seen more of a happy medium? Yeah, again, because every single move is in the direction of more of a produced show. It has been like, if you put it on a graph, like, from 1 to now, it has only gone up in terms of being a more produced thing. The only things that I dislike about it, and then we'll talk more about just Campaign 4. This is Campaign 4, but I mean, like, we'll stop talking about this idea. Is, for instance, and I think I might have said this last week, when the Octus thing was happening, I have no issues, because in a real D&D game, there's nothing. Your DM may come to you and say, like, hey, do you want there to be some chance? Do you want this? I know you wanted it to be your character, blah, blah, blah. Having that conversation between the DM and the player. The fact that they had to bring in, like, the chief creative to be able to be involved because they needed to know what was happening for the show, and that's one of the players, that is where I'm like, whoa. You just, like, you crossed the line. Like, you crossed the fourth wall as a player because you need to know what's happening because you're, like, running something, right? The other big thing was if the thing, people have this, if you guys haven't seen, I did a video talking about a bunch of different people's theories and stuff. It's like 13 different fan theories. And one of them is the theory that Tyranny is in the body of Wick's former lover, right? He had the picture of the woman, the one that he wasn't supposed to be with because he needed to marry some other family or whatever. So they're like, no, you can't be with her. If Tyranny is that person, from what I've seen so far, they are intentionally burying it as a decision from the cast against what their characters may have done to me, right? And that I don't like. Like, Tyranny specifically said she watched him look at this picture and she's very off on the cuff, right? She just says stuff when stuff happens. So if she saw a picture of herself, you cannot convince me that she wouldn't have gone, wait, why do you have a picture of me? So if later on that comes up, I'm going to be like, they did it simply for production. They negated real world, how you would react, what your D&D character would do, what you would do, simply because they're like, oh, this will be something cool to bring up later. I don't like that. But that's all I'll say about that. Whether you do pre-recording, let's get we all feel. Yeah. Again, still like it. I think the reason I started falling off and didn't finish season 3 was because how it felt less like friends playing D&D and more like a TV show. And this feels even more so. I do prefer Matt Mercer as DM. I also like him more as DM for this, but I still like Brennan, and this is going fine. I this is still so new; it's hard to know. I think Brennan is still feeling out this as well, so I don't think it's fair to critique quite yet. But I personally, I think I like Mercer more. That is not a knock at Brennan at all. I have no issues with Brennan, but I do think, like, if you said, "Hey, you can have somebody DM your game. These are the 2 people you can choose from. Pick one, only one," then I'm gonna pick Matt. I can only imagine they'll continue to grow, especially since their animated series are doing so well in game. That's true. Their animated series is doing very well. I did a short about this yesterday or the day before. The Mighty Nine is popping off across the world. It's less improv because there's a lot of story to work through, and is less exciting than Calamity because it's long form, more drawn out. Brian on YouTube says, I feel like 4 hours of unedited footage is pretty close to live. I don't know how people can watch D20. It's so edited. It doesn't seem like real D&D. Well, that they're doing 2 totally different things. Critical Role has always been like, we're telling a story, we're playing D&D, we're whatever. And I think D20 has always taken the approach of like, we're an improv comedy show doing D&D. And so like, it's the balance of what is your priority. So like if you know from the get-go, our audience or what we're offering is this, and this is always our priority, then it's okay if that's, Now, if all of a sudden they swapped it, then people might be like, whoa, this isn't what you normally do. This is kind of clashing with our belief. Marisha's also advised, she just knew? No. Just because the demon takes the body doesn't mean that they keep the same appearance, though. She might not know she's been in the body if they... Well, that to me would just make the whole idea silly. I mean, it could happen, little bud bet, don't get me wrong. It could totally happen. But if it's like, oh yeah, we take over the body of somebody, and then they're not even that same person, well, then you didn't take over their body, you made a new one. Like, what do you need a body for? They should have gone after Sid because he might move. But Casimir is so I thought they were going to do that. Dow, 100%. 100%. When Tayor said that, he goes, well, we know where Casimir is now. We know he's going to be in his castle. We should get Sid. I was like, yep, that logic seems good. And then they were like, no, let's go get Casimir. And I was like, no, I get it. Because they don't know where Sid is. Right? They don't know. But I'm also like, yeah, Tayor's logic made sense to me. Yeah, I don't mind Brennan. I'm just some used to Matt Mercer and his style. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to do either one. Critical Cole, thank you for the hot chocolate on TikTok. Ghosty36 on YouTube says, I personally have no issue with new chapter. Episode 6 and 7 were my favorite. Excited for what this group gets up to. I have no issues with it either. Like, I like it. And I feel like I keep having to iterate that because I never want people to think when I'm bringing out things that like, oh, this tastes a little different to me. This or whatever, that I don't enjoy it. I watch it every week. I talk about it every week. I make videos on it. I would not, trust me, I would not do this if I hated it. I do enjoy it. Doesn't mean that there aren't things that like I may like a little differently. That's all. Yo, what up, Jano? I love the way Brennan says the most violent and macabre things, like he's asking what to hand him a Kleenex. Dealing Affliction. Just got here. I'm wondering about the dog at the end of the last episode. Good boy or bad dog? He seemed different to his new lord. Wait, dog at the end of the episode? There was a dog at the very end? Angel says, if that theory is true, maybe Tyranny knows, but Wick doesn't. Maybe. The body thing like that, just playing devil's advocate. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Crumb says, do we know exactly why Tyranny and her sisters are with the Halibars? Like their goals? We know that it's part of an arrangement with the Lord of Shadows or Lord of Suffering, something like that. Like the like the demon lord, the prince of demons, that there's an arrangement where, like, they provide demons, and then in return they get like souls and filament. And part of it is, one, probably for muscle, but two, because they've used it often to say, like, our light is so good that, like, we've even brought demons into the fold to believe in our religion. So I think that's part of that as well. Lydia Sparrow says, it would also mean that she could already know she's in that body if they want to still spin that. She already knows more than she's told Wick. Yeah, it's just, there are certain aspects that, to me, on, like, up front, would strike me as intentionally bearing things for, like, exciting the viewer versus just playing the game. Because what have we seen from her so far? She says things off the cuff. She just, like, she's not the most socially aware. And so for her to see that and then be like, oh, now I'm socially aware and I'm not going to say anything, would just be like, boo. That's not what she does. But we also knew that she knew about the angel in the basement and she didn't share that. So maybe she is capable of keeping secrets. And that's one that she decided she should keep. It's possible. Quake, actually shocked Lord and consider that Sid could have been in the I lost it. Tavern, to be honest, he's on my TV. Guess whatever. Well, somebody pointed out, they said that, and I didn't go back and watch it, but they were like, they didn't decide to come downstairs. Brennan, I think, maybe didn't want them to find him and basically said, like, okay, you head downstairs. Wow, Jay with the $20 super chat. Holy crap, dude. I think there has to be a demon throw. I think at some point she will very likely fight her sisters. But wow, I think, yeah, first super chat of the, I did put a goal up for 5 super chats, but it's my first time ever doing that. But thank you so much for that $20 super chat, man. Really appreciate that. I do hope that they will eventually be like a showdown between her and her sisters. I think that'd be dope. We're getting 2. Yeah, Jedi, there's going to be 5 total. The 4th one's coming out soon, right? And then there's going to be the 5th. But yeah, I think, Quake, that he jumped to her going back downstairs. I don't remember if she was like, okay, I looked in that one room, I'm going downstairs now. So I think the suffering thing is her pact and her patron is the demon prince. I really enjoyed the suffering thing. Like, knowing that she has this archetype, she wants to see people suffer, even if she doesn't want to. There's like an impulse. Excuse me. Favorite character so far? I love the way Sam is playing Wick, and I also really enjoy Julian. Wick and Julian are probably my top 2. I have high hopes for Tayor and Cadigan, and Murray and Bolaire. The only one I don't love so far, I've said it time and time again, is Hal. Like, he's my lowest. Then there's like a little level above him, there's some above them, and then, you know, but yeah. But Jay, thank you so much again, man, and I hope you're having a great day. The dog was talking that it's supposed to how the hunts of wolves because I like they were bred to kill the wolves and touch them. Oh yeah. You're talking about Dame Morgaine. Okay, when you said at the end of it, I thought you were talking about like very end, like when they were at Casimir's place. I was like, I don't remember there being a dog. But she's supposed to be there, right? Like she said, oh, I happen to have business there tomorrow as well. So I think we will see her tonight. I think Dame Morgaine will be there. Didn't Hal fight in the end of the war acts of iron? He has to say, yes, he did. So I thought that they were druids, but somebody pointed out that, like, they never said they were druids, I don't think, and Brendan never said they were druids, I'm not 100%, but the players referred to them as druids. But I could be wrong, I don't remember if like Brendan called them druids as well. But somebody said, well, maybe they're not druids. Maybe they're actually just like intelligent dogs or like something like that. Not 100%. So the shield and went downstairs. Okay, it could be. Any guess on the cold open tonight? I think it'll be the other group? Yeah. It's just a matter of which one. So 2 weeks ago, we got the one with the trance, like dream vision from Valus, and then she talked to Octus. And then last week, or the last episode we got was like the Dean and Bolaire. Dean with Murray, and then Bolaire with Lady Cormorant. The dog they talked to was one in the Tower of the Fire. The Wolfhound was different. But yeah, sleep. I think we'll get one. I'm just wondering if they go back and they'll do like the Seekers again. Dog. And then when they got Kazer's new castle, they find the dog was there working for him. Wait, did they? It would be cool if you could do a D&D campaign with some viewers. I've thought about it many times. The problem is that there are too many people to do it, and so I would have to find some sort of limiting metric, or else like people would just get left out. I've thought about trying to set up a campaign on Start Playing. I've thought about doing where I'll take some of my patrons on Patreon and be like, you know, once a month I'll do a Patreon game and bring in like, you know, 5 to 6 players or something. There's a lot of ideas for something like that. Just a one shot each month, but how to do it is the thing. Chrome says, I thought the dog in the tavern knew the other dog like they were pictured. Yeah, no. Dame Morgaine knew. Oh, I forgot his name. It's in my notes. But she knew the one that she saw outside. Yeah, she said that they were both hounds of the king. 100%. Whoa, let's go. Blake, thank you so much for the super chat. I've never really gotten a bunch of super chats, but I think I've gotten one before. So this is kind of nuts. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Who do you think will end up with the deed to the land, and do you think it will be important to any other events going forward? That's a good question. Are you saying if they defeat Casimir, who's going to end up with the deed to the land? It depends on how far the players choose to pursue it, I think. Like if the players choose to like be like, hey, we defeated Casimir, now let's go tell the king that he did this and that, then maybe the king just decides to give it to one of the players, or maybe the king's like, cool, then we'll take it and we'll like give it to, you know, some person to hold on to it, some other noble family that we owe something to. Or it becomes the headquarters. It becomes the base for the players, right? Again, if the king's like, hey, you took it, or they defeat him and they go, now we have the deed because we killed Casimir, then maybe that becomes their headquarters, right? Like that's where they start to like go and do all that sort of stuff. But it's also like, it's been very established that this place sucks. Like it's dilapidated, it's all broken and in ruins, and it's not nice at all. But hey, who knows? Thank you for the super chat and the question. Let me scroll up, make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm having a better day hanging out the nerd headquarters with you, bro. Thank you, Jay. I was supposed to say they were druids and worked with a king. Yeah, we knew that they worked with a king, Sleep, 100%. Anyone out here getting wrecked by this cold? I think it's supposed to snow here tonight. I think there's a good chance that it snows here tonight. It's 41 degrees right now, though, so it's not like, you know, the 30-ish that it normally will do that out, Bachmo. But I think we are calling for snow tonight. I'm in Virginia. We don't get snow like that often. Definitely not like big snows. Lil Bowman says, what did you think about the whole baddest of baddies bat-off when they literally spanked him in front of his omen? That was one of those moments that just, it sets a stage for like the disparity in power, which I think is good. We got to see Guinevere basically be Darth Vader. She's just staring at this guy. He lifts off the ground. And she's just like, holy crap, don't want to fight her. No hand gestures, no, like nothing. It just looked like she just stared at him and he lifted off the ground and couldn't breathe. So that was nuts. So you see that disparity, and then they're like, oh, Casimir is somebody who literally fought in a war. He's been a part of like the Crow Keepers. He's not an inexperienced, and this guy walks up and is like, boom, pull your pants down and beats you on the hind parts with a sword. Power disparity. Like moments like that is like, yo, that guy, these guys are bad. Like this is tough. And it was just, it's a cool scene. That was a very cool scene overall. Pretty sure they were druids. Yes, Alan. And also welcome in. Good to see you again. Cas would be a group house like White Castle. Yeah. Blake says yes. Nico says, felt like a massive drop was revealed and Brennan said the thing that Dowsy saw when he looked up was a falcon. And how the Dakonis woman reacted to that. Yeah, 100%. Her reaction was a big reveal. Because at first I was like, well, why did he look like, they say he looked like kind of scared when he saw the falcon? Cole with the super chat. How do you think the characters will level with the three different parties? That is a great question that has been asked so many times and I'm very curious about. it actually won't matter if they're not together, right? Like if they're not side by side, it doesn't matter. Like if the soldiers hit level 5 tonight and the rest of the group is still level 4, but they're not interacting, it's like you don't have the balance for the players that are in a totally different area of the world doing something completely different. But I think when you bring them together, maybe, but at the same time, this isn't a normal game where somebody might feel like, oh, I'm not as high of level as the other people. It's a production, and they might be okay if like the soldiers show up and they're level 5 and the rest of the group is level 4, or well, they're level 3 right now, so they'd be going 4. But you get what I'm saying, right? They're not level 4. I just misspoke, Crumb. I'm sorry. Critical Cole, thank you for that subscription to the YouTube channel, brother. I don't think they're going to care if they're fighting at 2 different levels. Like, I don't think the players are going to be like, oh, I'm level 5 or I'm level 4. The other guy's level, 6. But I do think Brennan will try to make it so they're all roughly the same. I just think we're going to get it kind of because from what we know, we're going to follow arcs. We're going to have the soldier arc. And when that comes to a conclusion, maybe they hit level 4. And then we'll get the Seeker's arc or the Schemer's arc, and they'll probably, at their conclusion, they hit level 4. And then we'll get the next arc, and they'll hit level 4, and then they're all on the same page. So I think that's how that's going to work. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Repair while we watch the other tables. Yep. I'm in Canada. Pity me. Oh, it's probably really cold up there, huh? I've been to Toronto twice, but it wasn't during like the winter. I don't think. I think it was going fall. Actually, it was snowy there one day I was there. It was definitely snowy one time I was in Toronto. But they of course handled a lot better than we do in Virginia. It'll snow like 3 or 4 inches in Virginia and everything gets shut down. So, which I don't mind, but maybe a Bastion. Oh, that's true, Jason. If they wanted to actually do a Bastion thing, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I've never messed with Bastions. Power Disparity. Hey, what's up, Brooke? Sorry, I am very late on reading because I was reading the super chats. I'm trying to catch up on the chats. We are getting down to 8 degrees. I don't know how low we're getting tonight. I know it's 41 right now. Looks like the lowest we're going to get is 33 at about 4 a.m. So not bad. Yeah, then tomorrow it's going to get up to like 46. So we're going to stay right there around. Were they Tacona's cousins? Yes. They were Octus's cousins, I believe, of the Tacona's family. Yeah. And they were insane. Wondering if the Hounds of the King are a faction of blood hunters rather than druids. That'd be cool. Maybe when the fight breaks out with Casimir, the Hound of the Castle fight with the soldiers. I hope that she's on our side. I really thought Dame Morgaine was cool. I liked her personality, so I'm hoping for that. Mighty episode hit it with her. 100% silent. That the Mighty Nine episode. If you guys haven't seen it, episode 5, intense, emotional, intense, filled with some good action. Like it's a good episode of television. The doctor thing was freaking hilarious. Yes. When she was trying to be a nurse. I think Brennan would allow a 1 level disparity. One of the D20 campaigns started with the teens at level 1 and the experienced soldiers at level 3. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Critical Cole is such a good username. Yeah, Critical Cole normally engages with some of my stuff over on TikTok, but I'm glad you decided to come over here. I'm from Virginia Beach, brother. I'm right across the bridge from you. Theory: the falcon, magpie, and songbird are wild-shaped druids like the dogs are. Oh, interesting, Andy. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was in. I lived for a while in Newport News. I grew up in Hampton, lived in Newport News. I went to school at Radford, lived in Tennessee briefly in Nashville, and then lived in Newport News, and now live in Hampton again. So I'm across the bridge from. I don't know if you're still there. You just grew up there, Cole, but yeah. Hope it rocks. Thanks, Brooke. Thanks for stopping by. If you were to create an NPC character, what faction would they be a part of, and why? Faction in the game? Fellow Highlander. Yeah. Oh, did you go to Radford as well, dude? Yeah. What level are they? Right now they're level 3. Right now they're level 3. If to create an NPC character, what faction would they be part of and why? Like in their game? And what are the factions? Do you mean like the houses or do you mean like anything? Arcane. Okay, look at all the NPCs and the low-level PCs that joined other campaigns like halfway through. There was level difference. They were to hold their own and DM up their level. Yeah. Unnecessary in the game tonight. This is there's going to be tons of stuff. Tons of stuff. It was dark. I never really knew till that. Yes, very much. 20 degrees there in Missouri. Sheesh. They did not need to add the cat detail. Yeah, it's going to take the streaming world. It already has. Yes, many moons ago. Yeah, I mean, same. I mean, I'm 34, so I did go later though. I didn't go right out of high school. So when I was actually there at Radford, I was like, I think I went at 21 or 22, then graduated at like 24 or something like that. Because I didn't go for the full, like I graduated, but it was because I already had some credits. So I did I think a winter of 2026. I want to say 2026, winter of 2016. I don't know why. Yeah, I think is when I graduated. I just know everything shuts down. Your husband's, yeah, Ohio, yeah, Norfolk is literally direct. I mean, I live very close to the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. It's Norfolk right across. I normally would fly out of Norfolk for the airport. So, yep, I 100% Ohio, Mom, 100%. But yeah, Mighty Nine is intense. If you guys make an NPC for the campaign, I don't ever do bad guy stuff, Arcane, so would probably be maybe in the house, like Roy's house, maybe, or they would be like, if I make an NPC, they would be on the side of the good guys. But right now, I feel like we know a lot more about who the bad guys are than we know who the good people are. So it's kind of hard to answer that because I need to decide. Like, I don't know. Maybe the Hounds of Timony are actually like pretty good people. In which case, the Hounds of Timony. But I don't know. Never got you partied way too much. See, I went later, so I was already a little more grown. I'd already lived on my own, already held a job and all that before I went off to Radford. So I became an RA. But I don't drink. I've never drank. Never done drugs or anything. So like it was easy for me. I was often asked, why do you go here? Because Radford being a party school, people were surprised when I'd be like, no, I don't drink or do whatever. But it was still a good time. What class are you currently playing? What levels? How many people in your games? Ooh. And the two games that I'm playing, I love those. I hope you have a great, hey, thank you so much, Void Gear. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Hopefully there will continue to be plenty more coming. So you guys keep watching them. I'll keep making them. Just Jerry there. Had to change my name. Hey, would you change it from? Just Jerry, because now I don't know who you were talking to before or through before. Let me try to answer Jay's question real quick. I'm playing a halfling swashbuckler rogue at level 8. I don't think we're 9 yet. Level 8. That game is 4 players, 1 DM. And then I am playing a level 5 Leonin Paladin, just like Teor. And there's 5 players in that game. And a DM. It's supposed to be 6, I think. And then I'm a dungeon master in the other game, which has 5 players, but one of them I think is out now because of a new job. So more like 4. Predictions for this episode. I think they engage Casimir. I wonder if they're going to let it actually be like they kill Casimir, or if they're going to need him for something. They're definitely going to want to kill him. And I think there will be a combat. But whether or not they will eventually be like, dang it, we have to keep him alive for this thing. Or if there's a path of redemption, or like, I don't know. But I think we'll get that. Yeah, everybody throw the character that you currently play in the chat. I know it's not directly Critical Role, but go ahead and throw that just for funsies. And also, throw your favorite. Now that we're going into episode 8, we'll make this a recurring thing. Who's your favorite character? As of right now, 8 episodes in, who is your favorite character in the campaign? Level 7 Goblin, Wizard, he's awesome. Heck yeah. I have a feeling they'll use him as a bargaining chip. With who, though? I don't think anybody cares enough to bargain with Casimir. Like, yeah. I don't think that's a thing. Oh, just Jerry. You were Ohio mom before. I got it. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just realized I just looked at the picture. I was like, oh, it's the same picture. Forever DM gang. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Dr. Caliban says Cadigan. What's up, Dr. Caliban? Cole says Wick. Bull says Tayor. Heck yeah. Ghosties Wikander. My boy Wick. A lot of people like Wick, and I like that. I like that a lot of people like Wick. Let me see if my command is working for the Discord on here. And if not, we'll do table. It's in the description. If any of you want to join the Discord, there's a live chat that we do during the actual episodes. People can chat about what's happening in the episode. It's not as busy as the Beacon one, so people can actually read and respond to your message. Also, if you do !table, if it's not broken, it tells you what table you would be on. I apparently would be on the Schemers, so you can do !table if you want. If it doesn't immediately work, just give it a second. There's a slight cooldown. Favorite character, Octus Deconis from Richard. The NPCs is who I play. For whatever other baddies run into, I don't know. Sorry. Lil Bowman says playing a Genie, Warlock, Guardian, Barbarian. Ooh, interesting. Wick is my current favorite, although I really like Tayor for the soldiers. Yeah, easy Wick, maybe Tayor second. I'm with that. MX Cinderflame says getting a little elevated and prep for the show. 100%. 100%. I don't know what you mean by a little elevated. Like, at first I was like, oh yeah, getting it, whatever that means. And now I'm like, what do you mean like getting high? Getting elevated? Is that like code for like I'm doing drugs? I don't know. Pick one favorite yet, but Valus, Belair, and Wick are so intriguing. I agree, Reed. I agree. I like all of those characters. Valus fell off a bit with me because she just became really soft really fast. I loved how cold she was to start and just brutal. Just that sort of flat face, just like, I don't care about them, I'll kill them. And now she's like, are you sleeping okay over there, Octus? I don't want the stone anymore. And I'm like, what happened? What happened, Valus? Like, I don't know. It was just like an immediate switch in her personality that I'm adjusting to. Andy says level 5 Ranger Halfling, a level 3 Bard Block Kinku. Okay. If I miss somebody's, I apologize. I'm trying to keep up. Blake says usually I'm the DM. I'm currently playing a Bard in the one game that I'm a player, and my current favorite character in the campaign is Wick or Julian. Those are the same two I picked, man. Heck yeah, Blake. I played my very first Bard like a campaign or two ago. I love playing a Bard because I'm a talker, truly. But I also am like, I'm not gonna play a Bard every single game. So I'll just be a talker as a paladin and a rogue. Boom. Void Gear says I can't wait for more Cadigan backstory. I hope we get more. There's definitely some good stuff there, but he's keeping it all close to the chest. Bull says Wick will be an interesting possibility late game. Yes. Crady says, I'm playing a Dragonborn monk, Way of the Ascendant Dragon. He's trying to become a true dragon. And right now, I think my favorite is Tyranny. Oh, trying to become a dragon. Tyranny's cool. I've said many times for any of you who've been here before that the first episode, I did not like Tyranny at all. She was my least favorite. And then she grew on me for like the next 2 or 3 episodes. And now I like her more. Wish I won for the first, but tied Belair and Octus for the second. Fair enough, Brandon. Least interested character for me is Murray. For me, it's Hal. I'm not playing at the moment. My son, who is in our family play, is overseas teaching. Okay. Rich's latest PC, I'm playing Abyssal Tiefling Barbarian 2, Warlock Pact of the Blade 3. Nice. Octus and Julian. Yeah, that dichotomy. Belair is crazy, yes. I love Belair. Tal is playing it so well. I'm hooked. Agreed. I really, really do like Belair. But I've always liked... I didn't really see much of like Campaign 3 Ashton or whatever. But the other things I've seen from him, I've enjoyed his characters. I'm gaming right now. My go-to character is a Battle Master. Okay. Well, how do you feel about Battle Master now that like weapons by default? I feel like Battle Masters now have so much because they have their whole kit of Battle Master stuff. But then they also have the weapon masteries as well. Um, so it allows you to like take other things because like, oh, I can just knock them down with my weapon, or I can just do this with that, and I can just do this with that. Like there's just a lot. Um, so Paladin, turning arcane spells and divine spells with an ocular spell feat to eventually store 2 maximized touch of idiocy spells for a range touch no save. Jang, Jay, got it all planned out. I think Ashley happened to Valus. That might be it. That might be it, Jason, for sure. I'm currently Paladin Warlock Asmar, and my favorite is Wick. Sam's characters are always top tier. I agree. Have any favorites yet? But Belair is most interesting so far. Yeah, I like him. Also, if anybody is watching and hasn't already clicked that sub button, please consider doing so. It helps me out, gets more of me in your feeds. You'll get more of my content, and you'll get to make sure you come back and hang out with us again. So if you haven't clicked that sub button on YouTube, definitely do so. If you haven't followed on TikTok or Twitch, consider doing that there. If you want to support me making more content, doing these live streams, and staying full time with all of this nerd stuff, consider doing a super chat. Subscribing on Twitch, becoming a member on YouTube, or heading over to my Patreon, link down below, and supporting over there. You also get a bunch of cool stuff on my Patreon, so you can do that as well. And that is where, oh, we have merch down below too. If you want to check out the merch, there's a merch shop with like t-shirts and stuff for anybody who wants to. Oh, and definitely like the video. Give it a thumbs up, hype it if that's an option. Because now that we have the direct competition of somebody who started doing a pre-show like my pre-show at exactly the same time with the exact same thumbnail, they now have 110 more viewers than me. So anything you can do helps. Thanks. Back to the action. Keep it a bean. What's up, my guy? Yo, what's up? Keeping it a bean. I think Ashley, when Ox is a baby, must protect, but she has started to do the same thing with Julian too. She just very quickly, Valus lost that whole like I'm mysterious and tough and distant and I don't know you people and I'm this epic legendary. She just very quickly dropped that. So yeah. Great character. I didn't get to play too much more, but I have a Tabaxi Artificer. Guys, I have said Artificer forever, and the number of people who commented on my video where I was covering the new Artificer stuff and was like, it is triggering me that you're saying Artificer. I now will call it Artificer. Okay, it will be Artificer. Let it be known. I have been corrected. Belair reminds me of SCP-035. Make sure to like the video as well. Yep. And hit the like button. Of course, hey, there it is. Look, both of you, Speedster and Quake, covering it. Also, I think the Trickster God may not actually be dead and walking the world in the masks. That would be wild. Maybe like the one that they like pulled out, like the clay one that was in the thing. Somebody in my Discord had the theory. I covered it in my latest video with all the theories. That coffin was actually a trap for Belair that the Aussie had. How many episodes do you think this will run? They're planning this to be another years-long game, so 2 to 3 years. You should maybe start the pre-show. See, but he just made his earlier. Like, how early do I have to go to it? You know what I'm saying? Like, his was 8:30 the first time when he started after I did mine for 3 weeks, and then he bumped it from 8:30 to 8, and he changed his thumbnail to be the same as my thumbnail. I'm gonna do 7:45 now. And then he's gonna do 7 and I'm gonna do 7, right? Like it is what it is. Like it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. He's the bigger fish, and he came in and pushed me out of the pond. The mask in the coffin was broken though. Yes, but yeah, I don't know. I wish we learned more about that. We found out it was a coffin of Obalad, like the angel of the halfling angel of death or whatever, and some cool stuff. And that like it went in, like there was like almost like a whole world in there. But yeah, it's interesting. So it is what it is, Quake. It is what it is. It bothers me less this week than it did last week and less the week before. Again, I don't own it, right? Like it's just a thing. So it just, it's just one of those things that's always going to suck when like you feel like you're the mom and pop shop on the corner that found something new and was like, oh, this is good, this is going well for me, and then somebody like a corporation sees you and goes, yeah, we're pushing you out of this space, like we're taking over because we have more resources and more money and more connections than you, and you're just like, oh, okay, I can't do anything about it. But it is what it is. I'll just keep doing my thing, and if now instead of having 150 average we have 75 or 70, then I'm still glad you guys are here. So thanks for being here. Trip 3 from you or someone else. That would be interesting and disappointing if it works. Well, Yeah, I guess if he went in, maybe that would be the case. Oh, because the mask broke. So maybe that's the idea. If the mask gets stuck in there, then it actually disintegrates and dies, right? Because it was like a clay mask and it broke. Um, so maybe if he went in there, the mask would be stuck in there and it would die. Maybe. One of the layers was just the mask was broken. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe that mask went in there and that's what like killed it. Um, yeah. Do you have a least favorite character? Yes. Hallandil Fang. It's my least favorite. Excited her too. Well, that's because I talk really fast and I talk a lot. I can't take too much credit for that. It's a better channel. I mean, hey, I've met him very briefly. I like him. I don't like that this happened, but maybe if I was in his shoes, I'd have done the same thing. That shame is so much more entertaining here. I appreciate Lil Bum Bun. Who will die first? Octus doesn't count. That's a good question. Yeah, boring so far. Yeah, Hal's just not. He just hasn't done anything for me yet. I did a tier list a while back, a tier list video, which I might do more. Another one, like an updated one. It's just like, I don't know when, maybe I go when the soldiers table completes, I go, okay, here's my new updated one now that I know more about the soldiers table. And then I'll do another one when the next arc completes and stuff like that, because tier lists tend to do well. But yeah, Hal was towards the bottom for me when it came to that. Taliesin, of course, it's a trickster god. Well, I don't think he's the trickster god. Common thing is weird too because it was Thimble name that activated it. Well, I think it's because I had an idea, just because like that's who it's supposed to be delivered to, maybe. So like that was, but at the same time, I don't. Yeah, I guess it is a little weird. It was a little weird. So I prefer this show though. Yeah, again, I don't want this to be like a hate train or anything like that. And I know, which we've talked about here before, I shouldn't even mention it, bring it up. I don't dislike the guy. Again, maybe I would do the same thing if I was him. But I probably wouldn't do it to that same degree. Sheesh. Void Gear with the $49.99 super chat, which is the highest. Oh, so your thought is I'm crying. Move back to him who never mentions you. Kevin, that's fair, brother. I don't blame you for saying it. And I mean that. I don't blame you for saying that. Keep you gotta agree with the Hal take. I know where the character's going. Yeah, and again, we haven't gotten enough of him yet, but hopefully when we get it, we will. It is, I will say though, Kevin, it's unfortunate because that is the only time, and I've been live for an hour and 6 minutes, and there has been like 2 minutes given to that topic. So it's unfortunate you caught that, but I don't blame you for saying that or feeling that way. Do you do live tier list? I have not. At the rate of near death encounter, my thought is that Terra will be the first to die. Oh yeah, I missed that question. Who will be the first to go? It's so hard to know because you don't know who's. Wick takes a ton of risks, but he's also been very, very lucky. No. Jay, don't tell him to go back there. What he said is true. Again, I know I shouldn't talk about it. It's a totally valid take. It is a totally valid take. Could he have been a little gentler with his wording? Absolutely. I don't disagree with him, so it's fine. So we'll focus on the show like we should. I think the trickster god allowed her death. Oh yeah, so yeah, it's totally possible the trickster did. The trickster could have 100% tricked them into thinking that it actually worked. That would be a fun twist. 100%. And once again, big thank you, Void Gear. Really appreciate that. I have to agree about how, that's why I think multi-classing into a fighter, since he already has subclass, make him battle ready, plus he's definitely going to become proficient with the sword. I think he already is, because he's been to war, right? Like, they did say that he participated in the end of, the Axe and Vine, or whatever. So Yeah, I think he can already use it and has already like fought. He has war experience. But I do think he needs his chance. Yeah, he's rusty, and he said that like the sword felt a little heavy in his hand and stuff like that. But I do think he'll get his chance to show that. And I think he's building a different character. He said it. I did a whole video on him revealing stuff in the he did a fireside chat, Liam did, and that his whole plan with this character was to not have like this super trauma filled background. He's like, I actually have a dude who has a pretty healthy life. He has kids he loves. He has a good relationship with the mother of his children, the mothers of his children. He's had business success. He's all this. And then the very first episode, Brennan kills his brother. You're just like, come on, man. I was making a character without trauma and Brennan shoved it on me, dude. So that's funny. That is funny. Thamo could easily be one of the first. Yeah, it's so interesting when you have a character that is literally 4 inches in your game that can also fly, and like how to like make balance and fairness and all these sorts of things when it relates to something like that. Um, yeah. Well, that's yeah, 100% Void Gear. Thinking House Kid's going to be threatened to force him. I think he even talked about that in the thing where he goes, they're like, if Brennan wants to make Hal leave the comfort of the life he's built, where he is happy and he is comfortable, you're going to need to force him to do so. How do you do that? Right? And that is probably how. Did I miss something? Um, Absolutely. Liam being a playwright, I wonder if that's a little inspired off of Sam since he is one. I see a message over here that says Steven think there will be a mask war, but I don't see it in my chat over here, which is why I was confused. I just happened to look over. So I hope I haven't been missing anything. Um, I don't know that there'll be a mask war. I think it's completely possible that a point, Bolaire is on one side of like a group fighting, and on the other side there's another mask. Yeah, I think that's possible. I don't know if yeah. I can switch to YouTube. No, Jedi, you're totally fine. I can see all the chats right here. If I do miss something, I apologize. But all the chats are brought together in front of me. You can watch wherever you're comfortable. I am currently on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm good with any of them. How's brother? Wait, were you saying how's body feel was staged? Could they have switched out the body of how's? You think Theozi's body was switched out? I don't think so. Like they saw him get hanged, and then they had his body out that whole time throughout the ritual. Somebody else, I think, did a test to try to determine if there was still life in him, and it didn't show. So, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. I just feel like there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. That doesn't mean that it can't be done and that there wasn't some secret magic or something, but like evidence points to the contrary. Trauma like a fart in a car. Jay, what a way to say that. What a way to say that. I know I can talk taking a Travis moment from Calamity. Uh Respectfully, I'm gonna need Hal to leave the town because the RP with his daughter ain't for me. I've also, again, I've said maybe it's because I'm not a parent, maybe it's whatever, but the moments that I have enjoyed the least from Hal and Taisha is their engagement with their children. And I think it's partially maybe because I'm not a theater kid. I love role play. I like role playing in the D&D games I'm in. But I'm not a theater. Like I was never in theater. And so when I watch somebody like talking to a like a made up child for this, I don't know. It just doesn't connect for me. You know, like it just doesn't do it. So I'm kind of like I don't want their fictional children to die or anything, but I also like it's my least favorite interaction is when they're like hugging and kissing the forehead of their child. I don't know, when I say it out loud it sounds terrible, but I just don't like it. Stop loving your children. Maria Hernandez says Thimble. Wait, were you answering? Are you behind, Maria? Is that what you said? Thimble in the like who's your favorite character? I wonder if you're behind. Some scenarios in which we were the outcome of the execution. Yeah, it's completely possible. Blake says, who do you think has the coolest weapon so far, and why is it Valus? It's Valus. Yeah. That freaking sick weapon she's got, dude. I agree. It is very, very cool. I also, can we say, Tayor's is dope too. When he was describing how it was like doof, 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 like coming out of the thing, like the flail was extending as sort of like this unlocking thing. His description of that flail was sick. I loved that. Reason why Belayer's grabbing all these magical items is just so other people can't use them, potentially use one to kill them. Interesting dealing. I like it. I like it. Listen, I love RP2. I prefer story-driven D&D live plays, but Brendan just makes the daughter scenes last too long. I agree. They do kind of go back and forth for a while, and he's doing like his daughter voice, and I'm like, nah. Mask War would be amazing. Agreed. If they switched the body, Louise's character would have to be involved since he was in charge of the body. Also true. Can finally join the pre-stream chat. Hey, let's go, Forgotten. Kevin says, here's a fun one. Theozi is/was the leader of the Falcon Rebellion and a druid himself. One of the 3 druid of the King's Flag. The Falcon appeared at his death to bear witness to his death. Okay, I think it would be crazy if it turned out he was a druid. We don't actually know that, do we? Is that like part of that theory, is that he was a druid? Or do we know he was a druid? I like the rest of it, though. I like the idea of the Falcon appearing at his death to bear witness to his death or whatever. Because I'm wondering, why was he viewing, like, wasn't it like he looked surprised or scared when he saw the Falcon in the sky? Even though, like, that's his thing? And then he said, like, I still hear the Falcons cry. Like, it's odd that he saw a Falcon. Or maybe that person who said they saw a Falcon and he actually saw something else. I don't know. Got caught up last night? Heck yeah, Forgotten. Hopefully you enjoyed. Belayer's conjured glass blades and Cadigan's cool. That's true. Honestly, there are quite a few cool weapons. Cadigan's, I don't know if it's like cool, it's just different. Cadigan's isn't as cool to me as the way that the flail was described or Valus's weapon. The conjured glass blades are pretty cool. What if Theozi's soul was let loose at the beginning from the halfling coffin? You find out it was to safeguard Theozi's soul from being used by Dead Boy's dad. Could we call him Dead Boy? Druid when used a sword, also potentially valid. Maybe Brennan doesn't play kids well. None knock to him, it's just not as strong. Yeah, and that's also completely possible. But I think it's because a lot of the time when you see kids in these games, right? And I could be wrong about this, but most of the time it's not an interaction so much between like a father and daughter or like whatever, right? You see like random kids and they're always quirky and fun, right? Or they have this little thing and it's just like a side character. It's a random NPC. It's nothing. But now they're trying to like showcase this bond and this love and this whatever between a mother and daughter or a father and daughter and whatever. And that's where it's like, I don't know, this is different. And I don't think I love it. But that's just me. Some people do. Some people have said that like they have thoroughly enjoyed it and that is 100% okay. It's not for me. I didn't read the second part of the post. Kevin, I got you. The druid god or god of beasts is the only one still alive. Julian is still like, wait. Do we know that the druid god or god of beasts is still alive? Or is that again, like part of the theory is that one's actually alive? Theozi's return of the guys. Well, I think Julian's echo is Theozi. I would agree that if Julian becomes an Echo Knight, his echo is Theozi. 100% I believe that. I will also say one of my favorite parts about Theozi's name is the number of different ways I see it spelled in chat every single week. And that is not a knock on anybody. It's just truly remarkable that I will see 17 different versions of Theozi every single week. And I love it. Does anyone know something about the paint? Maybe I was paying that much input. I don't know what the paint was. I don't think they shared it. Like they know that it's like special, but I don't think we know anything more. Somehow let him know it was over. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Jason, is like that was some sort of sign of like you're not being rescued. If the Team Vox and Team Mighty was against each other, who wins? Blakey, I'm gonna go Vox. when they're all like super ultra powerful and Kalith is like, you know, like the Lord and all that. I'm gonna go box. So the players' kids actually voice the PC's kids. Just have them on a mic in the other room, the table, listen to the speakers and their emotional damage. That would be cool. It probably would not flow all that great, and it would be a mess, but it would be cool. Also, fight Ghosty. I would say it is a non-zero chance. I would say I'd give it a 20% chance that a character dies. Reed says, yeah, yeah, or some of these birds, some druids on that subject have an uncomfortable feeling that those king's dogs are stuck that way. I also think that's possible. Like they stay as the hounds. Yeah. Do you DM? I do. I do. Thing all want to know about the paint? 100% we do. Julian is part rogue. He is. He's a fighter and a rogue. Yeah. Fiazi. Yeah, there we go. Wait. What is the paint? Is the blood of the deity, and by the painting, the theater it serves as a conduit for the turn of the Joker deity. That would be kind of nuts. But why would Thiazi have been like, yo, Belair, get this paint to my brother Hal. It's the blood of like the trickster god, and you can bring him back. Yo, what's up, Dane? Online or local? I play in person. I was running, so at a point, I was in 4 games a week. I was running 1 in person, 1 online, playing in 1 in person, playing in 1 online. Now I'm in 3 games. I run 1 of them in person. I play in 1 of them in person, and then I play in 1 of them online. We should see which character we would drop into the story. I want to drop in Hodor from Game of Thrones. I'm dropping Mega Man in. They had a one-shot between the 2 campaigns. Can't remember the winner. Oh yeah, they act. I mean, they really did do that. Mighty Nine smoked Vox in the one-shot they did. Really? Okay. Well, I was wrong. Sometimes a PC or below see death is what a PC needs in order to get their act together. Wick is getting there, but I have a feeling not quick enough, and DM might push a button. I agree. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Tiasi. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Seems like a good ratio. Hope you're doing well, Dane. We got 46 minutes until showtime. And as you guys may not know, we do tend to end about 15 minutes before. So we'll end at about 9:45. Lets all you guys go get snacks, use the restroom, get comfortable, prepare for the episode. Also lets me do that. But yeah, there's a link down in the description as well. That will take you to the Discord if you'd like to join. There is a whole channel set up for live chat for Critical Role, as well as a normal Critical Role channel and a spoiler-free channel, but nobody uses spoiler-free. So there's one there. You can feel free to chat with us during the actual episode. So you're not alone. You can just ask questions, get excited. Mega Man, yeah, I don't know. It's the first thing that popped into my head. How Fang was the Liar Blade. The Aussie Fang had the Liar Blade. Wait, what? It's the same thing, but we're saying like Hal gets the musician one? Like the liar? I mean, that's not how it's spelled, I don't think. So that's where I might be a little confused here, Kevin. Melting my brain over coding recently. Sounds like a blast, Dane. I'm kidding, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm good. Maybe if Wick goes down, Brennan can push that button before the rest make it in for rescue. I would like. I think it's possible. But I don't want Wick to die. Like Wick's one of the only ones that I think is so important to the story as we currently are following it that I don't want him to die. Like if it killed Tayor, I don't think it would really impact me. If you like, there's several characters that if you killed them off, it'd be like, okay, I don't think that really changes too much with like everything going on in the world. Wick, I would feel like we would miss so much. See you next week. Hey, peace out, Cole. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it, dude. Instrument. Okay. Are you much of a gamer? Oh yeah. Well, lately I haven't really been playing much. I got the itch to play Counter-Strike again, which has always been like my main game for a long time. So I played a little bit over the last 24 hours, but I mean, I worked in gaming and esports for a decade. Gaming has been a huge part of my life since I was a kid. So yeah. On the Steam machine, I think it's neat. I haven't really looked into it that much. I've definitely been very separated from gaming for the last like 2 to 4 months. Love Mega Man. I could see him translating as a Warforged automaton. Oh, 100% Warforged. I can see that. This is beyond the veil before he gets healed. Okay. Yeah. He gets some interesting information. I like that because Octus and Taisha got to see some stuff. Liar Blade. Yeah. Lyre. Yeah. I like that, except for Liam's character, Hal, isn't really like a musician bard. He's like a playwright, like a spoken word kind of bard, I think. Like, not musician. I'm sure he has proficiencies and he has all that, but like I don't think that's his flavor, his narrative flavor when it comes to that. What are your thoughts on the end of Campaign 3 where Vax is given another chance to live his life? Did you like this development or not? What do you think of the reference to the Jester Wedding show? I don't know, Blake, because I did not watch the end of Campaign 3. I saw, like, I was literally watching the episode as it was airing, when, like, the Fresh Cut Grass made the ultimate sacrifice, and I tuned in here and there, but, like, I didn't see the very end of that. And I watched like the live when they first brought out Sam's new character and stuff like that, but I was not heavy into. This is the most heavy into Critical Role I've ever been. I've seen a good chunk of the start of Campaign 1. I've seen the start of Campaign 2. But I have actually, this is the first one that I'm like in the weeds of. I can name all the different NPCs. I can tell you how they're connected. I can name the different plots and storylines and all that. And this one I'm really in the weeds of. Other ones I was very in and out. Like, I know things that happen, and I know this, and I've seen this clip, and I've seen that, but, like, I'm not as in the weeds into any of those, which I wish I would have been, but I simply wasn't. Twitch from TikTok. Hey, what's up, Blakey? Wait, are you the same... Switch from TikTok, are you the same one that's also on YouTube? Or was that... No, that was a different person, because we also have Blake Barn on YouTube. Do we have two? Do we have a Blakey Barnes and a Blake Barn? Is that it? That's insane. CDC, Tyranny compelled to do something that makes one of the other players suffer. I think that's going to happen, Chrome. 100% I think that's going to happen. Still a bard. No, I agree, Kevin. 100% still a bard, but it's not the flavor. But it is funny that it kind of connects in that way. Like Liar and Liar. I guess I'm not on YouTube. That's actually different people. That's insane. What are the chances? We got Blakey Barnes and Blake Barn right there. Like, one winged toasted angel. Okay, this is easier. Are you Forgotten Katana on TikTok? Campaign 3 was fun overall. It was a good ride. But it's hard to fit multiple live shows into your weekly entertainment. Yeah. I am. Okay, cool. Well, welcome over. I just remember the soldiers don't know that Octus died and came back. They don't know what happened to the Royce and Davino's families. They don't know that Octus died and came back. I mean, they don't know anything. They don't know anything about any of that. They were gone. What do you think that giant's hand is? Like, what do you want it to be tied to? I think it's important for the lore, and I think that maybe that's like the arm of like I don't know. I was going to say a shaper, but I don't think it's that. But I think old giant or high giant, I think he called it. I think they were important, and I think they were powerful. So for a couple of months. I think it's possible, B-dubs. I think this could be the end of their arc. If it continued, I wouldn't be completely surprised, because it's like they haven't gotten Sid yet. Maybe they end up doing both tonight, but I don't think so. I think the Sid thing will be a continual arc that could lead to something. But if they defeat Casimir, I could see them being like, okay, because would that be 4 episodes with the soldiers or 3? Wait, we're going on. Yeah, that would be 4 episodes with the soldiers. So that I could see it. Like I said, I always said it was going to be 4. I have always 4 to 6 episodes. I imagine each arc is going to be 4 to 6 episodes. So it's just this would be 4 episodes with the soldiers. So I could see that. What's up, Shifter? It is going all right. She's been asleep. Being a sleep paralysis demon is kind of a joke. She had multiple times now. She's done that. What do you think the Giants? I already answered that. I'm assuming this will be the last soldiers. Okay, answer that. There was something before the Shapers, right? Like primordials. Well, I don't know. Like it's all there. They did say that some things were there before the gods. Oh, Jay with another super chat. And we hit our goal actually. We did 5 of 5 super chats. What's up? You didn't have a message with it, Jay? No message, just a 10 super chat. Let me give that a little heart. I appreciate it. There were, because I think they said demons and fae were both there before the gods. I know those for sure, and I think primordials might have been in that list as well. I know it's in my notes somewhere. Make sure you hit that goal. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I think I had it set to where it was just like anything like $2 and up counted, but yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we hit 5 super chats today, guys. Really appreciate it. And if I ever miss somebody, like last week, I think it said that I had gotten a $5 one, and I did not see that. But at the end, my little summary at the end was, you got a super chat for 5. I missed it. I apologize if you are here and it was you last week. I'm really sorry. I did not see anything. Do you think they find Sid tonight, or did Sid Bridges do that? I think they may start to look for Sid tonight. I don't think they find him, because they're going to do this whole thing with Casimir, and I think that's going to take some time and some working things out and whatever. They might rest tonight. I don't know. I'm not ruling it out, but I find it hard to believe they're going to knock both out tonight, because they don't even know where Sid is actually. And if he's with like Univere and the other cousin and the guy who spanked Casimir, they're losing that fight. Like the soldiers die if they go there. So there's gods, ones that were defeated by the currently dead gods. Maybe. What table do you think we get after the soldiers? Seekers. Complete guess. Pure speculation. Nothing to base it on. The Seekers. Why does Tyranny sit on people's chests while they're sleeping? She's done this twice now. I think it's just a joke of the idea of a sleep paralysis demon, and because she's playing a demon. I think it's Whitney Moore having fun more than anything else. I don't think there's really anything more than Whitney Moore having fun when it comes to that. Yeah. Just going to stroke there. Well, they started to leave. Like they're probably down by the town now and heading out. But yeah. Maybe the druid saved Sid? Maybe. But I don't know why the Dakotas would be like, new things came to light. It's none of your concern now, if that was the case. I mean, I guess they could still, but that would seem a little odd to me. My nose is really red right now. Cat sitting on people when they're asleep. Yeah. Sneeze and sneeze. Stop it. Their interactions are pretty fun. Tyranny also just thinks it's fun. Yeah, exactly. I thought Tyranny almost screwed the entire party with a nurse idea. Yeah. The voice was good though. She did a great job with the voice for that. But the whole like, we saw it happen, and they're like, you could not wait. What do you mean you saw it happen? And kind of outing themselves with that was funny. But then they got around it, and the perfect roll from Sam again. To roll a 19 plus 6 to hit the 25 that Brennan said they needed for this to work on that persuasion. Beautiful. Those are the moments you live for, is when you hit that high DC right then and there. That was peak. Because Vikander is blessed. It is very fitting that this guy who's like, yes, I have this religion and I'm blessed and I'm a Halavar and the light and blah blah blah, is the person who has gotten insanely lucky on his rolls multiple times so far. I didn't know that I thought it was a great idea, but I thought it was an okay idea until it was like, wait, yeah, how would you have seen that? Once that was mentioned, I was like, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That just outed them. What is the coolest magic item in the show so far, and what cool items you might enter the game? Blake, I would say right now. So the Liar's Blade is cool because we know it's going to be something really cool and powerful. We just don't know what it is yet. I think the freaking little sword, the little sword that makes tiny toys, literally knights tiny toys and brings them to life, is awesome. Like, what do you mean you got this cool this tiny little sword that is like, I knight thee, and then it goes and does your bidding? Like, I think that's dope. Yeah. Is Belair a magic item? Yes, Belair is a magic item, and I was gonna say that. For me, it's the coffin. Oh, the coffin is super dope. Tyranny was really hitting the chaos 100%. Geeky Vapor says you and Todd are the same exact time. I know. Sam always gets insanely lucky, but it just works so well for this character. Double 20s was boss. Yeah, it's just worked so well for him. I'm trying to think other magic item wise. How many others do we know? I don't know. Tonight, first soldiers combat, Kaz dies, new mystery reveal, table transition, calling it now. I agree, Kevin. I think they will defeat Casimir. Whether or not they kill him, I don't know. They will defeat him for sure. They will learn more information. They will either decide to find Sid or head back to town to share information, or there will be something altogether new revealed, like you said, and then I think we move to a different table. I think that would be a solid stopping point for them if they're planning to. Yeah. Welcome in, Geeky Vapor. I hope you are having a great time. Kind of went Skeeber's table next just for Belair, not gonna lie. That's fair. Again, I'm okay with whichever way they go with it. I like some of the characters on either one. I want to learn more about I want to see Luis Carrazzo play more. For one, I do like Murray. I think she's one that worked in kind of the opposite of Tyranny for me, right? Tyranny started as like, I was like, I do not like this character, and then the next episode I liked her more, the next episode I liked her more. Murray I liked a lot episode 1, and then I think moved a little bit lower as it's gone on, because I think it was just a lot more. Like, she started to really try to emphasize doing some stuff. I still like it, but I think she's still getting comfortable with, like, when does she need to be that over the top and when does she not? So I'm interested how that will go. But I also really like Belair in that group. Maybe finally Hal comes to life. We get some of that. I don't know. Pretty sure Wick and Tyranny will be imprisoned, and Thimble Cadigan will have to rescue them. That would be an interesting change. When someone puts on a mask, does anything remain of who they are? If so, it'd be quite a shock if they find Sid and he's wearing one. That would be quite a shock. We don't know. Dealing, like, we don't know if, like, the person under the mask is just slowly dying while the mask is on them, or if they're already dead as soon as the mask goes on them, or, like, that's something I would love to learn. Thimble is going to kill him. I think so. I think that's going to happen, and I think Brennan will give it to her. If that's going to happen. Who the original cast do you think has rolled the most lucky rolls? Laura or Sam, maybe? I'm just thinking, you see a lot more clips of Laura making stuff, but you just see a lot more clips of Laura in general, so. They would switch tables mid-show. Maybe mid-show. If they wrap that up really fast, I could see that, yeah. I think Joe Manganiello, I never say his last name correctly, character show up in the animated series. It's a good question. In jail or something, the Kona's cousins would end them. Oh yeah, right now if they went to try to fight them, Univir would rip their skull out of their head with just staring at them. Like she seemed dumb powerful. You think Liam's been the luckiest? That's fair. Character will show up. He used that character in another IP. It may be copyrighted, maybe. But they could always. The thing is, they could do it in a way that avoids it by like changing the character a little bit, renaming the character, like that sort of thing, right? Like they're allowed to do that. What's up, mechanic? Murray fan here as well. Love to see some Southern representation that isn't too stereotypical. Yeah, she's been fun. And I hope Marisha, and I think she will, finds kind of like the right level of being sassy and being over the top with that sass, to also not being like a constant thing that becomes a bother when it's done too much, sort of thing. A long time no see, dog. I know. I never stream. Hope you're doing well, mechanic. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Belair offered for one of the party to put him on so they could understand how he works better, assuming he wouldn't said if it killed them. Wait, did he? Did he say, you do want to try me on? Did that happen? Did I miss that? I'm assuming it happened when it was just like the group of 4 at the museum down in his secret area. Jedi says, my jaw dropped when he stole Vecna's hand. That scene is crazy. Gojo didn't show up for that epic theft. I agree. What do you think is up with the druids disguised as dogs on the King's Crest? How powerful is the king compared to the Sundered Houses? I think that's a great question. And right now, it seems like he's not. Like, compared to the Sundered Houses, like, yeah, he has a kingdom and all that, but it's a relatively new kingdom. And so I definitely think that the Conus and Halavars and all, like, if they take them to a straight up, like, let's battle, I think the favor is not in the hands of Timony, King Gus. In terms of the druids disguised as dogs, we had a whole conversation about that earlier as to whether or not they are actually druids. Are they able to actually swap back into human form? Are they always dogs? All that sort of stuff. I do hope we learn more about them, because I think the idea of like the Hounds of Timony is pretty cool. I do like that. Yes, it was at the museum. He said he'd offer, but he didn't trust them enough to. Okay. Yeah, I might have skimmed over that. Even though the creator trying to subvert King Gus, I think he has some major power. Well, I think it's also just like, we already know that some of the stuff there. Victor, thank you so much for that subscription on YouTube. We know that, for instance, like there are other families, there are houses that are kind of in that area, in Gormalay, that they need to get with in order to like get more filament diluted to be sent out and stuff like that, right? So there's definitely a play there for why they would want to take that over. I don't think he's a pushover. Like, I don't think Timony's a pushover, but I don't know how formidable. And I don't think we know enough to really know. I want a map. I agree. God, would that make things easier if we had a map? Considering the body doesn't decay immediately as he takes the body, I'm assuming it's close to the comedy mask. If you take the mask off soon enough, same days when yeah, but it definitely does decay at a point, because this last one was like all dry and cracked and sticking, and it was not good. Like, the body was getting bad. So it definitely kills you over time. How much do we know about the world? Is Armon the continent or the planet? I think Armon is the planet. I think we do know some of that. I think it was in one of their, like, the very first summary, perhaps. Critical Role. What do they call them? Recap. Campaign 4, Episode 1. I think that they specifically. Here we go. On a gloomy day in the city of Dalmakiar, in the land of Kahad, in the world of Ahriman. There we go. So Kahad is where they were, and then I guess Timony is to the north. And then the world is Ahriman. Boom. Learned just something today. Halvar is actually trying to undermine the king already. Yep. I suspect a pivot to another table tonight. We've been making good progress. I think so too. Whether it happens during the episode, like halfway through, or at the end, I do think this could be the end of the soldiers tonight. Do we watch alongside you here, or will you dip out when it starts? I leave Fighting Gravity. I leave about 15 minutes before. So in about 10 minutes, I will bid you adieu, so you can go get snacks, drinks, get comfortable. I'll go do the same. But no, I don't live stream it, partially because I take notes the whole time. So there's me, I go back a lot, I go forward a lot. I'm watching on Beacon, I'm watching it at 1.5 speed, slowing it back down, taking notes. You would not want to watch it with me. Like, because I make content on it, right? I do full recaps and everything on my YouTube. So, yeah. It's just a pre-show. We just go from about 8 p.m. Eastern to 9:45 Eastern, and we hang out. We talk about Critical Role, the Mighty Nine, all that sort of stuff. We try to keep the focus mostly on Campaign 4. But, yeah. We will not be going the whole way through. But then tomorrow, I have typically done a post-show. They haven't done, like, exceptionally well. I think I may still do them for now. But at a point, they may not be something. It just depends. Like, if we get more people in there, then maybe, but not so sure. Were they forced to be dogs? See, that's what we don't know enough about them, but I think they're cool. They just said that they're not druids here. So we had that conversation earlier as well, where I think the players kept calling them druids, but I couldn't remember if Brennan ever called them that. I don't know that he ever outright said, like, they're not, but yeah. I think that's still in the air. The players were definitely referring to them as druids. Be hilarious and also diabolical as we get closer to the end of the campaign and the different groups converge. Brennan kills a few just to make it easier for him. If they are always dogs, it's for a druid trapped in a permanent form. I still think there is more to Wolfric than meets the eye. I think there may be more to him that meets the eye as well. I have definitely not been one of the people who thinks that, like, he is Cadigan or Cadigan is him. Close up other minis. Rubber Room, I don't think so. I do not believe they have. I'd love to see them, though. Maps take a while since they have to make sure they protect their IP nowadays. I agree, Geeky. I think it's like Belair never actually drank or ate enough for the body to keep doing this. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Release the hounds. I like that. 5 centered houses. 3 seem to be allies. Do you believe that Cormier and Royce all friends? No. I think Einfazen is on the side of Taconis and Halavar. But they were on the side of Cormier in the Shaper's War. So the Halavars and the Taconis fought alongside the gods, Taconis and Halavars, and then it was the other houses, Royce, Cormier, and Einfazen, I believe, that were against them. But now things have changed up because Einfazen, I think, is with Taconis and whatever, and of course they killed off, or they attacked the Royce family and their vassal houses, so. The party should appeal to one of Kaz's more reasonable local soldiers to take over the deed. That's possible too. Nerd. Wait, were you calling me a nerd, or were you asking questions? Oh yeah, there was gonna be. Today would only be episode 4 with soldiers. I don't think we were switching yet. Well, four episodes is an arc. I think they, like, if they kill Kaz, they will have achieved the end of their arc. So that's where I'm like, okay, I think we could see that. Yeah. Are you going to be our new crit roll stats? What is crit roll stats? You don't get to enjoy it that way. Seems tough. I do still enjoy it, but it is something where it's not as easy, but it also keeps me, like, it's only really rough if I'm just one of those nights where, like, if I'm sick, or just one of those where you're drained mentally and you're, like, trying to hear everything that's said and you're taking notes and you're trying to, like, it is mentally a lot sometimes to be watching for 4.5 hours while taking notes on everything. But, you know, that's how I can get recaps out to you guys. That's how I can make videos and content and things like that. Is I have to sacrifice a little bit when it comes to that, to really be able to make sure I'm not missing things and that I am able to remember stuff and think of new ideas for content, and stuff like that. So I still get to enjoy it. It's just a different experience than if I was just chilling, sitting there watching. What do you think shadow around do you think is the curse? What do you think the shadow around Lucius is? Wait, Lucius? Are we talking about Julian? Drums can't talk and droids can't talk in wild shape form, right? So how could they can in 2024? Yeah. In 2024, I think somebody already answered that because my eyes just went down and said, oh, I haven't played 24. Yeah. In 2024, druids, like in their form, are quite good. They can cast spells in their form, they can talk in their form, all that. The Ghost Polish something is designed. Yeah, that was part of the plan though. He was always gonna have a prosthetic, and it wasn't always like a Spectre sort of thing. And then Cadigan or Robbie talking with the artist ended up coming up with that. What percentage have to go to bed before it ends? I don't, because I have to finish it and with my notes, but I watch it again and I take notes for myself just again go back and remember. So the thing is, I sometimes end up having to go back and watch certain segments of it again anyway for specific points and to do B-roll footage, right? To record and all that. So if I had to rewatch the whole thing again more than once while also trying to get, it would just be a lot. It would be a lot. Hey, Sylvan in YouTube. Thanks for in Discord. Thanks so much for saying that. And once again, guys, if you look in the description of the YouTube video, you will find my Discord. We have a D&D section there, Critical Role section, gaming section. The Critical Role, we actually have a live chat, so you can talk about it once it goes live, once we end the stream. You can head in there and chat with people and discuss everything, so definitely feel free. Was a website that had every role documented, but they shut down. Absolutely not. I am not logging every single role. Not a chance. Not a chance. No, I will not be the new crit roll stats. Yeah. What's my day job? I don't have one. This is my day job. So, brief story. I've worked in gaming and esports for a decade. I was the US editor for a website. I was the on-air talent. I'd go to events. I have, you guys can't see them probably. These are all badges. Oh, don't break this. These are all badges. MLG, MSL, TwitchCon, Dota 2, The International, ESL, DreamHack, PAX, Gen Con, from events that I attended and interviewed players, coaches, staff. I wrote articles about esports and gaming. I did all of that. And in February of 2025, the company that I had been at for the last 2 years shut down. And they laid everybody off. And I decided I wanted to pursue my own project and see if I could make a living pursuing things that I like and enjoy. I'm going to take my shot at the dream. And I had money in the bank, so I was able to do that. And that's where NERDCORE came from. And so I have been actively pursuing this since about March 20th-ish, 15th-ish, something like that. Really put the pedal to the metal from April onward. But so right now, this is what I do. I make content around Dungeons & Dragons, Critical Role, some video game stuff. I'm on TikTok, YouTube. I have a website, nerdcore.gg, but the video stuff was doing so well that I started to push that more than I did the written stuff. But yeah, this is currently what I do. So yeah, hopefully that answers that. But previously, I also was director of content for a startup in the esports space for around a year and a half, 2 years, helping to build that and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Watchful apps explain the recap zone tool. My recaps do okay. From at the very beginning, hey, peace out, Jason. From the very beginning until now, they have dropped off some because less people are keeping up with Critical Role, right? Like the first 2 or 3 did really, really well. And then they've kind of dipped a little bit since then because less people are caught up. And some people just stopped watching and stuff like that. Very cool. Loving how people run some of the streams I view. Yeah. And this is still very new. And you know, I've not that you guys came here for this, but we're in the last like minute, 2 minutes of this, so I guess I'll give a little more detail. I last month was like my best month, and then this month, the last 2 months are basically the most that I've made. And it allows me to cover my bills. However, I still have a ways to go to where I'm like, I got good insurance. I'm putting money away for retirement, right? Like the real adult life big boy stuff like that. I haven't, like, I'm not making enough for all that, but I have gotten to the point where right now all my bills are paid, which is the fact that I am like 8 months in or whatever. And I can say that like content creation is paying my bills, is amazing. But I still have a way to go, which is why I'm still pushing this. I'm still trying to put out content, for stuff and liking everything and trying to enjoy it, which is why, you know, the super chat's incredibly helpful. And, you know, becoming a member here on YouTube, becoming a subscriber on my Patreon, all of those things are great and help me continue to pursue this. And just viewing my stuff, right? Viewing it, hyping it, liking it, sharing it, is all great. So yeah, you guys being here, really appreciate it. God, so I know this. Yeah, I get it, Kevin. Your point was valid, which is why I didn't clap back at you and say something negative. Like I shouldn't. But sometimes it's not me that brings it up. Like somebody will mention it, and then it kind of turns into a spiral. I was cutting into the YouTube channel. It is Chrome. It is. When they take that month off, I'm like, no. Or that week off, I'm like, we got to get content. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, 100%, 100%. But just in general, I mean, it always ebbs and flows. Like the YouTube thing, covering Critical Role. The first 3 weeks, 4 weeks from during the overture, there was a lot more views coming in. I will say that, on just about everything. Well, I appreciate it, Kevin. There was a lot more coming in during the overture. So I'm still trying to find like how to, because in some of these, like my latest one, talking about all the theories, the click-through rate is really good. The average view time is really great. And yet it like kind of just capped out at like 2.2K. And I'm like, huh, like the people who watch it are watching like 65, 70%. Like all those sorts of things. Right. So I don't know. It's, you know, you're just playing the game and you're hoping that you're putting out good enough stuff that people like it. And stuff like that. So, you didn't say, well, to be fair, again, we're not going to get into it, but it normally goes up in that last 45 minutes because more people are starting to look for the episode. And it used to go up to 170 and 180. And now, you know, I don't know if I got to 100, but it is what it is. Either way, thank you guys for being here. We're going to go ahead and call it now. Again, join the Discord if you'd like. It's linked down in the description. Appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. There will be a recap coming out, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click all the bells and whistles, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right? Enjoy the rest of your night. Later.